Hey there, my knitty friends. How are you today? I am so excited to be here today. I have lots to talk about. I am in a new place, kind of, if you could tell, which I will get to later on in the episode about why I'm in this particular spot. So I just want to say welcome. Thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time joining me for the Little Fish Stitches knitting podcast, welcome. Thank you for coming to check it out. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for putting up with my wackiness and many changes of location. And I hope you like this new spot. Yes. Okay. Oh, yes. I have to look at my notes all the time because I will forget what I'm talking about, which they're sitting right down over here to my left. So if you see me looking down there, that's why. Yeah. Okay. So I am Megan. I run the Little Fish Stitches podcast, and my Etsy shop is also kind of sort of Little Fish Stitches. I will put the shop site up on the screen for you here in a moment, along with all the different places you can find me online, like Instagram and Ravelry. And I have recently started an email just for Little Fish Stitches, which is super easy, littlefishstitches@gmail.com. So if you happen to need to email me about something, that's where I would suggest you do it. Yes. So as I said, my name is Megan, and I live in Aberdeen, Washington, with my family, my husband, Brian, who I've been married to for 17 years now, and our two sons, James and Connor, who are 13 and 8. So they kind of drive each other crazy these days, which means they drive their parents crazy. Yeah. So that's, oh yes, and we have a dog. Her name is Bella, and she is downstairs right now wondering why she's not allowed outside because my husband is outside dealing with the lawn. Okay, so I don't know where my brain is at right now. Apparently it's not doing what it should in telling me what to say. Alright, so we're going to move along to administration stuff. Yay, administration! Exciting! Well, what I'm telling you about today as far as administration stuff goes is the knit-along that I am hosting. It's for the Campside Items by Alicia Plummer. There are 2 sweaters and 1 shawl. One the pullover, the cardigan, and then the shawl. So I have made, last summer I made the shawl, and this summer I have decided to make the pullover. Maybe next summer I'll make the cardigan, who knows. So, yeah. I started it at the beginning of August, I believe, is when it started, or very early August is when the knit-along started. And I believe there's at least 1 finished object, and I'm really bad. I haven't opened a finished object thread. I will try to do that while I'm editing today, so hopefully it will be up by the time you guys see this. And it's not a whole lot of people participating, so if you want to join in now and do the shawl, your chances are pretty high of winning a prize. And it will most likely be yarn and a project bag, both by me. So, let's see here. Yes, so you have just under a month to finish. It ends at the end of September, which I forgot to say today's date. Today is Tuesday, September 5th. And it's my nephew's birthday, so happy birthday, Gabe! Not that he watches. He's a 15-year-old boy. He does not care about knitting. Anyway, so, yes, okay. The other administrative type thing is, sorry, this girl keeps wanting to creep up in front of my face. Oh yeah, 100 subscriber giveaway. We're getting a little closer, you guys. Keep on liking and subscribing, and I will eventually get to give away something for that. In order to do that, you do need to be a part of my Ravelry group, however. So make sure you go find me over on Ravelry under the Little Fish Stitches podcast group. Yes. All right. Okay. All right, so in case you haven't noticed, I have a finished object. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess? Can you guess? It's this pretty awesome hat that you're looking at right now. So I actually, this past week, I signed up for not one, but 2 test knits. Crazy me. I don't know what I'm thinking. I have a bazillion other things to do before Christmas. And it's September. That means I'm getting low on time as far as knitting goes. But this one, which I love how it turned out, took one day. Literally, I would say less than 4 hours of knitting. So, now what is this hat, you may ask? This is one of the test knits. So, considering it took me one day, which I would say I'm a medium rate speed of knitter. I'm not super slow, I'm not super fast either. Just depends on how much time I have available, really. This is the, sorry, I'm looking at my notes again. I'm going to just pull the book up here. This is the Brooklyn Brocade hat by Alea Staggs. Alea. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I know how to say your name, but anyway, I've gotten to know her quite a bit through Instagram, and her Instagram username is Adventurous Knits, and this is what her little design company is going to be called, I believe. And I have to say, I'm very pleased with how this came out. Before I blocked it, I wasn't sure. I was thinking it was going to be a little bit small, as in short. It fit fine around my head. It was just a little short, but I blocked it on a balloon, which is my favorite way to block a hat. I just take a balloon, and after I've dampened my hat, I put a balloon inside it and blow it up until it fits the hat to the appropriate size, and then I set it either in a bowl to sit upright, or if the hat is tightly enough on the balloon, then I'll just hang the balloon by its tied end from something. So, yes. There I go again with the yes ums. I'm sorry. I'm trying to not do that. It's not working very well. So, yeah. The test knit. I did this, the color is Malabrigo Teal Feather in the Mecha base, I think. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. I don't speak Spanish. It's like a heavy worsted, light Aran weight single ply. So, and then it was knit on size, should look in the bag. So I have 2 sizes in here. I think it was a 9 and a 10. So I did the brim in the 9 and then the rest of the hat in the 10. So that came together so fast. I worked on this past Saturday, and I started it late afternoon, mid to late afternoon, and finished it before bedtime. So, yeah, it was a super quick knit, but I really, really like how it turned out. And I mean, considering how well it looks with my hair, this is going to be a hat that I'm going to be wearing a lot this winter. And then the other finished object that I have, I did not even have a notion in my head that it was going to be started until the day I podcasted last Tuesday. And it's for my cousin and her boyfriend's little baby girl. The baby is not my cousin's biologically, but she loves that little girl like she's her own. She is turning 1 this weekend. And I was like, baby girl sweater? Yeah, I think so. I think I need to do this. So I went on the hunt while I was editing last week's podcast, and I found the most adorable little sweater ever. And it is the Pearls on a String sweater by Knitting for Olive. Now, I don't know if you've seen the Knitting for Olive shop on Ravelry. Go check it out. If you have a small girl to knit for, everything in that shop is just stinking adorable. I'm like, I need to make everything in there. And I'm like, there's a limited amount of girls in my family. So I was excited about this little girl. So, ta-da! Oh, and look. It matches my hat. Yeah. This is Malabrigo teal feather in the Rio space. I'm gonna scooch forward a little here. I want to show the sweater a little better. So you can see this is the Pearls on a String. Is the little what do you call those? I can't remember what they're called, you guys, but you know what I'm talking about. These little bumpy things. But the light colored yarn you might recognize. It looks very similar to my campsite. It's because this was my skein of, this was my test skein for my Shark Week colorway. So this is worsted, and there's no nylon in it, so it doesn't absorb the black quite as darkly. It kind of spreads out and mutes to a little bit grayer when there's no nylon in the yarn. So this is a Shark Week on worsted superwash, no nylon. So I believe this came out so cute, and I bet my cousin is going to love it. And this little girl is going to look adorable in it. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, really. I want it for myself. I need to make an adult size one. To go with my hat. Ta-da! Yeah. I'm a dork, and I know it. So, that's my 2 finished objects. So I started this on Tuesday, and I believe I finished it by Saturday, and I had it blocking by Saturday. I think that's when I finished it. And I knit this on, I think it was size 7 or 8 needles. And obviously it was a super fast knit, mostly stockinette. I mean, this is the 9-month size because this little girl is pretty small for a 1-year-old. I texted my cousin. I said, "What size is little squirt getting into be?" And she's like, "Well, she's just now getting into 9-month size." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So this should fit her through the winter, and she will look so adorable in it. I'm excited to see it on her. So that is it for my finished objects. Now on to my works in progress. I have 2 with me today that I worked on besides the hat and the baby sweater. And that is, I'm leaning over here trying to make sense of the pile that is my campsite pullover right now. I have, all right, let's see here. Last week when I showed this on, see where that little stitch marker progress keeper is? That's where I was. I had just started on the ribbing for the waistband. Obviously, I have finished the ribbing on the waistband. And I have moved on to sleeves. But, here's what I'm doing. Trying to get this organized here. 2 at a time sleeves. So it's kind of a big wonky mess right now. But I've discovered that I hate doing a second sleeve. I get second sleeve syndrome along with second sock syndrome. So that's what I'm doing. I started putting on the sleeves. I think it was on Sunday afternoon. And you can see how differently the sleeves are pooling compared to the body. I don't think it's going to bother me too much, but it is interesting to me how differently they pool. So, I mean, I'm working, so, I mean, it's pretty similarly pooling, so I think I did a pretty good job with the dyeing. because I'm working from 2 completely separate skeins for the sleeves. So, and I'm pretty sure they're even different dye lots, because I did sell some of this like right away after I dyed the first batch. So that is that. I have been making pretty good progress. I mean, a quarter of the way through 2 sleeves, so not bad. Next work in progress. I started these on Sunday morning, and this is a pair of socks. I finally gave in to the pull of the sock fairy siren, sock siren. That's what I was trying to say. The sock siren got to me, and I listened, and I cast on some socks. So I am not using a specific pattern for these, and they're a big tangled mess. And one of this. Okay, so I have split my skein. First of all, I'll tell you about the yarn. This is Little Fish Stitches in the I have yet to come up with a name colorway. That's a name, right? It's I'll have to insert a photo I took of it. It's not a very good photo, but I will try to insert a photo of it. Took of it before I caked it up. I dyed this on Saturday, caked it up on Sunday, started knitting it right away. That's how much I liked it. So, let me see if I can untangle this. I was going to take care of this before I started the podcast, but I was so excited to start podcasting, I forgot. So, I was working on these at my hair appointment today. Okay, so this is, alright, hey, now you can kind of see them. This is what I've done in the last 2 days. 2 at a time socks, cuff down. I did a super stretchy cast on, what is that called? The German twisted cast on, I believe. Is that what that's called? I think that's what it's called. And then I did 20 rows of 1x1 ribbing. And now I am just, it's kind of, because the yarn is so variegated, it's hard to tell. But I do have a little bit of a texture pattern going on in there. I cast on, I think it was 68 stitches. My last pair of socks, the Hermione's Everyday Socks, they were just a little bit too snug in the leg. And I believe that was a 64 stitch on a size 1. So I went up to 68. So I have 2 more stitches, or 4 more stitches. 2 more stitches per side of the sock, I guess. Anyway, so what I'm doing is basically a vanilla sock with a twist, is what I'm calling it. I don't know. I've never done a vanilla sock before, really, except for that stripy pair that I still have to send off to my friend. I'm a bad friend. They're sitting on the shelf downstairs. Yeah. Oh, and my little key stitch marker. I'm a little bit obsessed with vintage style keys. I have a thing for those. So I'm using size 1 ChowGoo. I think they're like 36-inch cable, so I can get both on there comfortably. And my yarn is the 75-25 Superwash Merino Nylon Blend. So I'm happy with how this turned out. I think they're so far very cute, and they're going to fit, I think, pretty perfectly. I have not fully decided yet, but I think I'm going to try the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I have not done that heel yet, but I keep hearing lots of good things about it, so I'm going to give it a shot probably. I do like the heel flap and gusset that I had put on the Hermione's Everyday Sock, but I'm always up to try something new. That's just how I am. And I am keeping those socks in my Sunshine and Bubblegum cactus bag. So cute, that I won from the Summer Top Knit Along that I participated in for the Slow Ass Knitters Club. Yeah, so that is it for whips. I didn't work on anything else besides those 2 finished objects and two whips. I can't count with my fingers, apparently. Okay, acquisitions. This is the fun stuff. All right, I'm going to start with the least exciting stuff first. New needles! Woohoo! I got another pair of sock needles. They are Knitter's Pride Carbons in size 1 24-inch. I'm hoping that's enough for 2 at a time socks. Got these at my local yarn shop. And then I seem to be running constantly out of my size 6 and my size 7 interchangeables. I guess I need to maybe stop casting things on, but I got some more 6 and 7, but the 7s have not arrived yet. These are the 6. They're just from Amazon, so. Woohoo, exciting. So, my next fabric. So, this one is for something special I will tell you about in a little bit. But it's very pretty, isn't it? Roses. It's the right color. And then this, it's hard to tell, but this cross hatching is actually like gold foil print or something. It's a cotton blend fabric, or I think it's actually, let me look. I'm pretty sure it's 100% cotton. But anyway, it's not saying on the selvage here. Or if it is, I'm not seeing it. It's not saying it. I'm pretty sure it's just, I mean, it came from the quilters cotton section of the store. So, this gold cross hatching. And then this is my favorite of the fabric that I bought this past week. You guys are going to love it. Is that not stinking adorable? It's so cute. I love it. And it's kind of blowing out my camera. But it's so cute. Ah! So, this is going to be project bags, probably. Like 95% sure. So, look for those in the shop at some point. I have a shop news section, so I'll explain a little bit more about things. So, my next acquisition, bought at my local yarn shop, Black Sheep Yarn Boutique, was the yarn for my hat. So obviously it's been caked up and used and has a finished object out of it, but this is the remaining portion of the Malabrigo teal feather colorway in the Mecha base. Mecha, something. So, next yarny acquisition is this super soft and fluffy baby alpaca bulky yarn. I am not sure what I'm going to do with this. This has been sitting in the sale bin at the Black Sheep Yarn Boutique for a month and a half or something. And every time I go in, I would feel it. And I would go, oh, soft yarn, squishy yarn. And finally, this past Friday, come home with me yarn. So, this might have to be another hat. Maybe I'll make another one of these. It's bulky, though. And it's supposed to be made with Aran. Maybe smaller needle. That might work. I really like this hat, Alea. Whatever your name is, you know who you are. Okay, so my two most awesome. I'm going to take this hat off, guys. I'm getting a little warm up here. Okay. I have... Did it without showing him. Okay, so Sherry of Peepaloo Fields was having a D-stash. So she set up a separate Instagram account just for that. And so I followed it so I could see what she was D-stashing. And I found two of her stash that is now my stash. So the first one is from Spun Right Round. In the Ain't No Disco colorway. Super fun! Ah, I love it. This has to become a pair of socks at some point. So, I'm getting to be a sock addicted knitter, you guys. Yeah. I kind of, all I want to do is socks now. And I have a bazillion other things to knit. So, socks every couple of projects, maybe. We'll see. And then, I got my first hedgehog fibers, you guys. Ah! I was so excited about this one. Oh my gosh. Look at that. This is the twist sock base, which is 80% blue face Leicester and 20% nylon. And this is the Fiesta colorway. So I'm excited to use that too. I'm pretty sure Liz is going to be socks. So not bad. That's it for my acquisitions though. Maybe. I mean, there's acquisitions that have yet to arrive that I've been, one of specifically that I've been waiting on since August 1st, anxiously. But, yeah, I believe that is it for acquisitions. Okay, moving on to Pod Stars. Ooh. I only have one this week. And I think I'm going to maybe try to limit it to one each week, because how many hours should one person spend watching knitting podcasts? At least 20 hours a week, right? You know, the whole time I work during the week. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. So, this one that I started watching this past week was, first of all, she's awesome because her name is Megan. That fellow Megan knitting podcaster. She mostly goes by Meg, though, I think, is Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits. That's another thing she's got going for her, you guys. She's a Whovian total nerd girl. Me. Hello. I don't let my nerd flag fly too often, but when I do, it's about Doctor Who, usually. And, oh, yeah. So I watched her most recent episode just to see how I liked her. And then I went back to episode 1. So, I think I'm about 5 or 6 episodes in from episode 1. And, yeah, I really enjoy her. And I'm probably going to continue watching her straight through until most current, until I run out of Meg. So, yeah. If you have not yet watched her, go watch her. She's cool. She lives in Maryland, I believe. So, yes. She's got a lot of, I'm a little envious of her Doctor Who project bag collection. She's got some cool ones. So, okay. Now, here's shop news, which I don't do too often. I probably should do a little more often. I made my first wholesale yarn order because I'm kind of gearing up, hoping that Christmas time, maybe I'll start getting a little more yarn sales. So I know I need to push my product a little bit more, a little bit better. You guys, if you've been watching me for a while, understand that I'm not the most articulate person. I don't like to push myself out there too much, which is kind of surprising considering I do a knitting podcast. I don't know what to say about that other than I like to talk about knitting. Come buy yarn that I dye, please, so I can dye more. It's fun. I don't know what to say. I'm such a not salesperson at all, so that part is kind of hard for me, and I need to work on it and get better. I do have a trunk show coming up at Black Sheep Yarn Boutique in Olympia, Washington. If you happen to be in that area on the last weekend of September going into October, so it's like the 29th, 30th, and 1st, I believe. And yeah, I will be there, not with yarn, but with my project bags. So I will have lots of fun options for project bags. Now, it's going to be yarn crawl weekend for that. It's a bunch of yarn shops in the area, Olympia area, Tacoma, I believe, and maybe even Centralia, Chehalis area. So there's a handful of shops involved with that yarn crawl. So there will be extra traffic into the store anyway. And then I'll be having a trunk show. Somebody else will be there with her yarn. I don't know who it is, but I'll probably end up coming home with some of it. I mean, why not? And then, yeah. And then the most exciting news to me, I mean, the trunk show is pretty exciting, and I've been pushing myself hard to get sewing completed. I have like stacks of bag parts currently downstairs because being up here has been much too warm to, I mean, I get my paid time in up here early in the morning, and then I'm like, it's too hot, and so I go downstairs and I sit in the dining room and sew on my personal machine down there to get my stuff done. So I have, depending on how many I sell in the trunk show, I'm going to have a pretty large shop update for my bags shortly after the trunk show. I can't imagine I'm going to sell. I'm counting in my head here. 6 times 3 is 18. At least 40 to 50 in each size. That's how many I have in progress right now. So none are done right now. None. They're partially done, but they're not fully done. And I need to get my butt moving. Yeah. It's probably what I'm going to do after recording and editing today. So, since I had made my first wholesale yarn order, I decided I needed to come up with some colorways that might become... I vaguely mentioned this an episode or two ago. I had a dye day, and I showed you guys... Oops, move the baby sweater here. This skein of yarn. Now, this one was the first one, and I've been thinking about this line for a while, and it's a Princess Bride themed line. Now, in our house, Princess Bride is a favorite movie. Like, it gets quoted on a weekly basis, usually, in some way or another. So I've got this, I keep needing to scoot forward, I feel like. Oh, I've got threads on me. Hazard of being a sewist, I guess. So, it's a stony gray color for the cliffs. And if you watch the movie, there's a scene where the boat that has the kidnappers and the princess in it pulling up to the Cliffs of Insanity. And it's like sunrise. So that's what these colors are. Those purpley pinky colors is the sunrise. So it's the cliffs and the sunrise. And I think it turned out pretty well. I like this one. So this is what I call the Cliffs of Insanity. And then on Saturday, I decided to do a dye day for 2 specific reasons. One of which I forgot to mention earlier in my coming up section, because I do have a project planned that I need to get done by October 31st. So, after I explain, oh goodness, excuse me, my other colors that I dyed up, I will show you that one for my special project. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to continue. I'm not sure what I think of this one. This is a kind of variegated green with deep red and black speckles. Now, this is As You Wish. Now, I'm assuming that most of you who have seen the movie and know a lot about the movie know what part that's from, and therefore you know why this yarn is these colors. But there is a part of the movie where Wesley and Buttercup are being chased by the prince, and they're at the top of this ravine, and everything around them is really green, and Wesley is in all black and Buttercup is in a bright red dress. That was the color inspiration for this. However nice it looks on the movie, I'm not sure I really care for it in the yarn. Tell me what you guys think, please, because I'm not sure. I mean, these might be totally somebody's colors. It's a little too close to Christmassy colors for me, though. I'm like, I don't know. I might need to come up for a different colorway. So I'm a little on the fence about this one. And catching the yarn on my knitting necklace. And then I like this one. I like how this one came out. So this is I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. Mad Max's wife. So, not Mad Max. Magic Max. No. The dude that brings Wesley back to life. Mad Max. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? If you have seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway. So this is kind of a dirty brownish gray with lots of green flecks and a little bit of blue and some like rusty orangey colored flecks in there. So this is I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. I'm terrible at voices. You know, if it was my husband up here doing this, he'd have it spot on. And then this is the fourth one in the line and I think this is my favorite. Besides maybe the Cliffs of Insanity. Ta-da! So this is I'm going to pull this skein open. In thirds, there's this pale gray, this kind of light royally blue, and then this greeny golden color, and they all have a little bit of flecks of brown throughout. Now this one is called Marriage, that blessed arrangement. I know, you guys, I'm sorry. I had to say it like that, though, because in the movie, that's how the priest says it. Of course, I don't talk like that priest who sounds like he has a mouthful of marbles, but I like it. That way I'm trying to reskin this. Never mind, do it later. And that's my Princess Bride line. Now, those are not my usual happy bright colors, but I love the Princess Bride. So I'm like, I have to make the yarn to go. So, yes. Alright, that is it for shop news. Alrighty, I guess we're on to life stuff. So this week's been pretty good. My boys went back to school last week on Wednesday. And this mama can breathe again. This mama can think again because her boys aren't arguing with each other. Yeah. So, I had started to go a little bit crazy. Not because of my boys, although they didn't help much. But this room that I am in is my craft room / work room. And on the end of today's episode, I did a little tour video. It was like 2 or 3 minutes at most, I think. Of how I have now set up my workroom. Because before, it was insanity. Everything was everywhere. I couldn't find anything when I wanted to find it. So, I decided that it was time to do something about it. I didn't have any major forms of organization up here. I had a couple little rolling carts and one shelf that the TV sits on up here. And then a bunch of baskets and bins and things everywhere. So I went and bought a bunch of shelves and little pull-out bins that go in the shelves. And I feel like this room is a place I want to be now. Whereas before it was like, I have to go upstairs. I don't want to go upstairs. It's hot and it's a mess. It was a hot mess. Literally. So, check out the video. See what I did to change things. Before, this corner that I'm sitting in before had the desk that is now right next to me in the corner. And then right here against this wall was where my little ironing station was. And then directly in front of me, where you will in the video see a white work table, was my industrial sewing machine that does the binding for my job. And then my other industrial sewing machine is across the room, basically in the same spot it was before. But things are just so much more organized. I don't feel like I'm going to trip over something. I feel like I can walk around in here without, really, you have to be very short to be in here. The peak of the ceiling, I have about that much space above my head, and I'm 5'2". So, most people aren't comfortable walking around up here. Me being a short person, I am. And I have to take a sip of tea because my throat is getting dry. In my gigantic quart-sized water bottle is a bunch of Good Earth sweet and spicy tea, in case you are interested. I know I don't usually do what am I drinking, because I'm not normally drinking something when I'm podcasting. Guys, I skipped on the life stuff without telling you. Ah! Okay, so, exciting stuff in shop news, and I totally skipped over it. Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay, so, last Thursday, I was doing my virtual knit night, and I was talking with Jen, who is Jen of the Perfect Stitch Fibre Company. And there were only a couple of us in the virtual knit night. Come on, people. Join my virtual knit night. Find Jen of the Perfect Stitch Fibre Company. Sign up for her email. And you will get an invitation each week on Thursday to join this group. We're fun, I promise. Although it was all about the feet. Okay. Anyway, so my son Connor was up here. I sat up here in this chair where I'm at right now, doing my virtual knit night last Thursday. And my son Connor was up here, like, crawling all over me and sticking his feet up in front of the camera and putting his eyeball up to the camera. And Jen's little boys were getting a kick out of it. It was, we called it at one point the Connor and Caleb show, because it wasn't about knitting, it was about the boys. Anyway, so Jen and I were chatting. And there's one other lady named Jody in there with us that evening. And we were talking about doing a collaboration. So Jen does yarn dyeing. And I'll show you guys. I have my Hermione's Everyday Socks from last week. She dyed the yarn for these. And this is in the Wheezing wizard colorway. And I think that was a one-time colorway for her kit that she sent out that I bought. Yeah. So anyway, she's going to do a kit, and I'm going to be the bag provider for that kit. So actually, 2 different times we have plans, you guys. We have plans. I'm excited. So I'm going to be her in October. It's her first shop anniversary, and I'm going to be providing the bag for her shop anniversary kit. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then in January, we have another one coming up, but I'm not going to say right now what it's about. So you'll just have to be surprised. But we're collaborating at least 2 times. And also, in at least the anniversary collaboration, I don't know about the January one, but at least the anniversary one is Lindsay of Simply Serving Handcrafts, I believe it is. Simply Serving HK. Anyway, you'll find her on Etsy under that. She's going to be doing like a stitch marker progress keeper thingy. She makes super cute ones. Like, I'll pull the it's all knocking things over. My Wheezing Wizard snack box is on my. She made that one. That was part of the kit I got from Jen as well. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to. I have some fabric coming in the mail hopefully later this week, so I can get started on prepping those bags. There's going to be 10 kits available. I don't know what the stitch marker looks like, but the yarn is pretty awesome. Jen sent me a picture of it so I could try to match my bag up to it nicely. So it's going to be exciting, guys. Keep your eyes open for that. I will share away once we have the kits put together. So, yes. All right, back to life stuff. I got my hair done today, you guys. I got my hair done. No more roots. And, yeah. My stylist, Brittany, she's awesome. She's my friend outside of being my stylist, so it's awesome. I get to go visit with my friend, and she makes my hair look great, so. And I bring my socks and I knit on them and mess them up. Because that's what happened today. Like right at the end, I brought my socks that I showed as one of my whips, and I gotta fix it. And I was gonna fix it before the podcast, but no, got distracted. So, then the last bit of exciting news I'm going to share with you. 2 last bits because I forgot another thing. Looked over there and I saw that other yarn that I didn't show you guys yet. So, back to the coming soon section. Okay, I gotta pull this over. Alright, so, remember the tank top I made you guys a month and a half ago now? Middle of July, I think it was. That was by Annie Lupton of the Boho Chic Fibre Company. And, I'm trying to get this the right way. I have my Kindle here. I'm going to pull up a picture. She posted last Thursday morning that she needed test knitters. And I was like, me! And I got chosen to do her test knit. I'm so excited, you guys. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be test knitting. It's a big cabled shrug thingamabobber. It's not a sweater. It's a shrug. It's like one size fits all kind of thing. It just, I want to squish it. And when I dyed my yarn for it on Saturday, you should have seen this pile. This is I've showed this before. Grab one of the labels that's over here. Oof. This is the Plymouth Yarn Dye For Me Baby Llama Glow. And it's 95% baby llama and 5% stellina. You guys, I did this deep purpley gray, and it's got these pops of pink through it that weren't on purpose, but I like them anyway. I think I'm going to call this Bruiser. But this yarn, I hung it out on the line to dry in the sunshine because it was so hot on Saturday. This dried super fast, and it was like, I mean, since it's been twisted up into a skein, it's a lot flatter, but it was like fluff. And I'm like, ooh, it's so soft anyway, but then it was super fluffy, and I'm like, I'm just gonna snuggle with my yarn. Go away, boys. I don't want to snuggle with you. I want to snuggle with my yarn. So, yeah. I'm excited, super excited to do that test knit, and I have to get that one done by the end of October, which means I need to finish my campsite sweater and cast this on ASAP, because, yeah, I'm a crazy person, and I still have to do my husband's sweater. I'm going to cast that on about the same time I cast on that, though, and hopefully, like, alternate days that I work on them or something, because, so, last bit of news. Finally, back to life stuff. I'm sorry it's been all over the place. I woke up this morning to a Facebook message from my older sister. Baby's on the way! My great niece! So I'm hoping that this weekend I will get to drive over to Eastern Washington and visit my niece in Spokane and my nephew and my new great niece, Rosie. So, yeah, that's all. I'm excited. Baby's on the way. I'm going to be a great auntie. I'm going to be a great auntie, you guys. My sister's going to be a grandma. Who allowed that to happen? Oh, wait a minute. My nephew, who is my sister's oldest son, he's going to be 26 on his next birthday. That's 2 years older than I was when I had my oldest child. I suppose it's allowed. Okay. All right. So, now that I have blathered on like an idiot, I think I'm going to go and sew some stuff and edit this podcast. So, thank you for joining me today. If you liked what you saw, despite all my all over the placeness, please like, please subscribe, please come join my Ravelry group so you can be there when I do my 100 subscriber giveaway. Yeah. Happy knitting. Oh my gosh, I'm such a dork. Hey guys. Sorry about the dim lighting. I'm standing in my stairwell. And you can probably hear my husband's video game going on behind me. But what I'm doing right now is I'm going to give you a little tour. I have done this before, but I have had a major reorganization of my craft room and workspace. So I wanted to take you up. So I'm here at the bottom of my stairway, living room behind me. If you want to see, that's my little knitting nook right over there. And so I'm going up the stairs, and right here on the stairs, I have attached to the railing some pouches from 31 that I use for organizing various small items. And then this room is the work side. Before I have two sides. This side to the left of the stairway when you're coming up is the larger side. So I'm going to show you that first. So, right here, I have my TV, my smart TV, where I watch all my podcasts. And then this is my table, where I lay out a lot of things to do my work on. And, sorry, I'm using my tripod as a selfie stick, kind of. It's a little awkward. And then, here's my industrial sewing machine that I use for, stuff that is not binding. So, and then over here now, this machine used to be on the other side of the room, and it's the machine that I put all the binding on the wraps that I make for Life and Limb Gel. And then you see that stack of stuff over there on that shelf. Those are all product boxes for work. So, and then these bins back here behind store all the fabric pieces, and that's where I'm throwing bound wraps as I finish them. And then I'm standing right here beside the bed. I have a bed up here in my workroom. It's mostly in case we have overnight guests. It's actually just 2 twin mattresses stacked on top of each other. So that is the work side. This past week is when I did this, and it was a little crazy. I see that black shelf right there. That is one of 4 that I have bought recently to get this room organized because, as I told my sister, it looked like a craft room exploded in here. Shocking, I know. And then here's my little ironing station behind the TV, which happens to also hold my notebook that I write down my hours in, and my time cards are on that little magnet board behind it. And then I have my little my second shelf with a bunch of storage in it. Third shelf with a bunch of storage, but this I think is my favorite part. This row of yarn. These rods, they used to hold the organization things that are now over on the stairway. And then this is my second favorite part. I don't know, they might be equal. This chair right here, that I went and bought at the Salvation Army for $25. It's actually a recliner. The foot pops up, you just lean back. And I now have an upstairs knitting nook. Yay! I can get away from the guys when they're all playing video games. Because I am not a gamer. Not at all. And then I have my little desk that really is more just for storage. And then I have some of my art and Connor's art. Connor drew that lovely Harry Potter picture. I just think it's so adorable. I had to frame it. And then these 2 are a couple of my original word art pieces. And, and then let's see here. Can I do this without looking too? I don't know. That's another one. And then that's another one in the frame there. And I hang my swatches up on this little string of lights with gold vine on it. And then more storage over here in the corner. I've got my thread. I'm leaning over the camera at this point, you guys. It's pretty awkward. And then lots of storage. A lot of these are fabric down here. Those ones that are kind of tucked back behind the table are definitely fabric. And then I have this table, which currently is empty, except for my serger over in the corner and a couple little things. This is where I will be doing a lot of my sewing once the weather cools down. So you can see good stretch of my room from here. I love my craft room. I'm so thankful that my dad built it for me a couple years ago. And yeah, so that's it. It used to be the bed that you saw that is just bed at this point. There's one thing on it that's not going to stay there for very long. It's some straps for work. But it used to be a storage device. Not a good storage device. It was like I'd have to lean over the bed and dig through piles of stuff, and then I'd be frustrated because I couldn't find anything. So yeah, I got organized. I'm so glad I did, because I was about ready to scream or something. Oh, now you guys are gonna laugh at me and probably think I'm just a goofball, but see that guy? That's my husband. He's so handsome. Anyway, all right. Oh, and that's another view of my handsome husband and me. That's when we were in Washington, D.C. a couple of years ago. Yeah, I kind of love that guy. I mean, yeah. So, anyway. All right, now I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write some show notes, and then I will do my podcast. See you guys in a little while. Or, you'll see this after I do the podcast. I'll probably just have to cut this out. Or maybe I won't. And I need to post a lipstick on. Bye.